All right, we now welcome on Georgia Tech head coach Josh Pastner. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to talking some hoops and glad to be on with you.
Awesome. Well, we got to start this off. It became a phenomenon last year with the face shield. I don't know if masks and stuff will be required for the season or not. Are you going to continue wearing the face shield if they are not? Because clearly it was a good luck charm.
Well, great question. You're right. First of all, let's see if they're going to require it or not. If they require it, I'm for sure wearing the face shield. There's no doubt about that. If they don't require it, it's a good question because it gave our best year in a long time at Georgia Tech was with the face shield on. So maybe the face shield gave us some good, karma in a sense. But we'll see how things are going as it gets a little closer to the year goes. I know it kind of took a life of its own, but the reality of it is, with the mask, I had trouble coaching in the mask because I was taking it on and off. I thought I was touching my face more than I probably should have been. And you see a bunch of coaches were doing that too. And a lot of times they didn't even have their mask on. I felt the thing with the face shield, people could see my facial expressions. They could somewhat hear me, and they could probably at least, verbally have a better, vision of seeing what I was saying other than when a mask was covering my mouth.
Was it the same face shield or a different one each game?
Well, when we were winning, it was on a win streak. I kept the same face shield.
Okay, yeah, you can't get rid of the other one.
No, of course not. Of course not.
All right, let's talk about your playing career for a little bit. I read online that you took 33 credits and graduated in 2.5 years. You took 33 credits in a semester. How did you do that?
Yeah, I played at the University of Arizona. My freshman year is when we won the national championship in 1997. And obviously that was with Coach Olson, Lute Olson, God rest his soul, and one of the greatest coaches of any sport. Was a head coach at the University of Arizona. Tucson, Arizona, the University of Arizona. People know that from Coach Olson, from Lute Olson. But I knew when I was coming to the University of Arizona what I wanted to do with my life, what I wanted to accomplish. And I was excited about the opportunity to be there to learn from Coach Olson, to be at that level of a program, and then have the opportunity, to hopefully one day take what I've learned and continue to move up the ladder to be a coach. And but I also knew at the time, in order for that to happen, I needed to get my degree. And so I was trying to hurry and get it through, but I completed my bachelor's degree in 2.5 years. That's 5 semesters. One semester I did take 33 hours. You're correct on that. I completed my master's degree in 1 year. And so in 7 semesters, I had got my bachelor's and master's while I was a student athlete at as the University of Arizona. So loved my time there, learned so much from Coach Olson, and some of my best friends were my former teammates with me at the University of Arizona. But we won the national championship in 1997, which was, as you go longer in this game, you recognize how almost impossible that is. You've hit it's like a 0.00001% to even have a chance to do that. So it's pretty darn cool.
So what got you into coaching?
I remember when I was in 5th grade, I was watching the Boston Celtics, Los Angeles Lakers play on one of those national networks on one of those weekend games. And I remember turning to my father and saying, "Dad, I want to stay in the game of basketball my whole life." And I felt to myself at that time, and I told my dad this, that if I can't play in the NBA, I want to stay involved in the game by coaching. And as I continued to grow, I worked as hard as anyone to try to be a player. I had aspirations and dreams to play in the NBA one day. That was a dream of mine, an aspiration of mine. But I also was realistic, that I knew that there was going to be a very hard path to one day to do that. So I always used to say, if I can't play in the NBA, to stay involved in the game, the next best thing to playing, I felt, was coaching. It kept you with that adrenaline rush. You're around a team, you're in the locker room. And so I put a lot of energies, focus, time, effort into coaching before I ever even entered college as a student athlete. I was coaching teams my own age in AAU ball. I coached both boys and girls. And I really studied the game, had a great feel and understanding of trying to learn about the game, was just a sponge. And then along the way, I got unbelievable opportunities. So much of it's in life is about opportunities when doors open for you. And I'm the first to admit I got some doors that happened to swing open that, I was just at the right place, right time, got lucky, got an incredible, door to open. Now it's on me or that individual to make the most of that opportunity. But sometimes when you least expect it or don't have any expectations of when that door or window opens for you to go through, it happens. And that's kind of happened within my career, coaching wise.
So you mentioned it's like a 0.0001% chance to win the national championship. It's not quite as hard, but it's pretty difficult to win the ACC tournament against all these other blue bloods. How big of a relief was it last year winning that tournament?
Great question. And you're right. It's maybe not the same percentage to win the ACC championship as it is the national championship, but it's still very, very hard to do. And it's in a very, very small percentage group of teams that have ever done it, to be part of that. And in a league that's considered the best in the history of college basketball, the best basketball league in the history of college basketball in the ACC. I was so happy to win for Georgia Tech, because it's been such a long time. It was 28 years was the last time Georgia Tech had won. I wanted to win so bad for Georgia Tech, for my bosses. I have a great, just loyalty factor towards Georgia Tech. I mean, the people here and the fan base, and it was really important to me for us to win the ACC for them and to get to the NCAA tournament. It was a driving force. And then obviously for our student athletes, for our young men, for our players who were the ones who got it done, and to see them have that opportunity to do that. So, the relief factor, the happiness, the enthusiasm, the excitement, the joy, all those emotions wrapped in, to be able to do that for Georgia Tech, for the fan base, for my bosses, for the people that work here, and then also for our student athletes who are the ones who got it done, who put the blood, sweat, and tears in. Was just so happy, and like I mentioned, for all those emotions for everyone involved.
So I don't want to get you in trouble or anything, but did you feel you got underseeded in the NCAA tournament?
Yes, I did feel we got underseeded in the NCAA tournament, but let me just say this. Number one is when you get to the NCAA tournament, everyone's good. There's just it's just everyone's good. So it doesn't matter what seed you are. To advance, you're going to have to win games, obviously, but you're going to have to beat good teams no matter what seed you are. I mean, you don't get to the NCAA tournament without being good. So you got to be good. The second part is I thought we got underseeded on the fact alone that we had won the ACC championship. We had 6 top 25 wins during the course of the season. We had won 8 straight games and playing about as well as any team in the country. And then the third part is I really do believe we had a chance to advance, and who knows how far we could have gone. Unfortunately, our best player, Moses Wright, the ACC Player of the Year, had gotten COVID or tested positive for COVID. So that disallowed him to play, and it was our ACC Player of the Year. I think if he had played and we were able to, to have him, who knows how far we could have gone. I say all that to say maybe that went into our seeding because the seeding, the tournament was aware of the situation before the seedings were announced. So that might have gone to factor, which I understood on that. I could understand that. The second part is I've always, look, it was such a crazy year with all the protocols and obviously COVID and everything that we're fortunate that we got to play. I mean, you look at a team like VCU, unfortunately, they didn't get a play in the game. We're fortunate that, we didn't get hit with the contact tracing that allowed us to not play. And then I would also say, with the COVID, as it was so unpredictable and it was you're doing everything you can, but you still could catch it. We're fortunate that Moses Wright or somebody else didn't get it 2 weeks prior. And he couldn't play. Maybe we lost a couple games and we don't get the chance to win the ACC Championship or get to the NCAA Tournament. So it's all about a matter of how you look at things. I'm a guy that looks at the glass as overflowing. Out of every negative situation, I try to turn it into a positive. I see the blessing that, man, we got through the season to have Moses with us the entire year. Yes, he didn't get us with us in the NCAA Tournament, but thank the good Lord that we were able to play in the tournament, and we didn't really have any issues prior to that. We did have a COVID situation earlier that we had to miss 4 games for, but that was earlier. And so, you just try to take anything you can. And then also, and most importantly, Moses Wright didn't have any complications. He was asymptomatic, nothing serious from that. And obviously, someone's health far outweighs any win and loss or anything. Because if you have your health, you really are a true billionaire. I like to say there's nothing more important than your health. Everything's about your health. And I stole that quote from Dick Vitale, by the way, so I got to give credit to Dick Vitale. But it's a really true quote because it is the truth that everything in life's the most important thing is your health.
So with players now able to make money off their likeness, how does that change the way you recruit?
I just think things will even itself out in a sense that I don't know how much it will change.
Yeah.
Because, look, the people that earn the right to have a value within the market for a student athlete and to be able to pay it off their name, image, likeness, great. I think it's a great thing. And the market will determine how much someone makes. Look, someone could have a great game, play really well, have a dunk or something that goes viral, and some company wants to maybe give him 500, he or she in either men's or women's basketball, $500 to tweet out their company. I don't know if someone's going to say, hey, here's $50,000, unless maybe they've produced all year long and become kind of a national famous name. But I think a lot of it for both men's and women's, not just basketball. I think for all the sports, name, image, likeness, I think a lot's going to be based on your social media following, the followers you have on Instagram, on Twitter, and so I think it's great for all the student athletes, regardless of sport, both on the women's side and the men's side. It's great opportunities for the young people to have a chance to profit off their name, image, likeness, and the market will determine their value based on that.
So let's talk about this season. Obviously, you lose the big names of Jose Alvarado, Moses Wright, who has a phenomenal story, by the way. If you read anything into Moses Wright, phenomenal person. But how big of an impact will be the likes of Michael DeVoe and Justin Usher taking that next step to becoming the leaders that Alvarado and Moses were?
Yeah, look, there's no denying that we lost a lot in Alvarado and lost a lot in Moses Wright. And so, but again, as I mentioned earlier, that gives opportunities for people to have, to step up. There's doors that open because of playing time and opportunities that people have got to grasp. Again, life's all about opportunities. And so a guy like Michael DeVoe, guys like Jordan Usher, guys like Bubba Parham and Khalid Moore and Kyle Sturdivant and Rodney Howard, along with our freshmen and the guys who maybe didn't play as much last year who were freshmen, they have opportunities to kind of, step up and we're going to need them to step up and be great players for us so we can be a really good team. And we'll have to figure it out. That's going to be part of my job on putting the guys in a position to be successful. and do the best they can, and to make sure, that I've put them in the right spots on offense and defense that they can be successful. And so I have a great staff. We'll come up with the right ideas and game plans, and hopefully from there we win some games.
So last question, won't take too much of your time. How important will fans be coming back to the building be this year?
Look, I'm really excited about having fans back. I think everybody is. You just got done watching the Olympics, and just incredible athletes. When you watch the Olympics, just amazing stuff. The swimmers and the track and field athletes, and obviously the basketball, both men and women, to win the gold. And just you can go all along the line. I mean, just the incredible, the eliteness. The elite level, the highest level of athletes. I mean, you look at the swimmers of, on both sides, the men's and the women's. I mean, you're talking 0.001 of a second. I mean, just it's really incredible. I say all that to say, but there was no fans in there. Just like for us, there was no fans, or very limited, I should say, for last year during the course of the year. I think part of athletics, which makes athletics so great, is the fans and having the energy and the emotion and the excitement level in the arena, in the building, at the ballpark, in the fields. I think it's exciting. So to have the fans back is a great thing. I think the fans are excited to get back. And when you're talking about, for example, going back to the Olympics, a tenth of a second or a hundredth of a second, between a winner and a loser, of getting the gold or the silver, or in a basketball game, making or missing a shot. A lot of that can be based on just the energy and the emotions of people on the crowd as well, too. So I think for all athletes, regardless of sport, really welcome and are excited about having fans back into the arena.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for your time. All the best to the Yellow Jackets this year. Hopefully you can bring a national championship home. I got to get down to a game at the Pavilion next year. We would love to see you. Now that it's back to open, I'm counting on you coming back to the arena. Back in the day, they called it the Thriller Dome, and we want to get the Thriller Dome back. I don't know if we set the record for Georgia Tech for the most consecutive home ACC wins in a row this past season. And so we've had some great wins at home in McCamish Pavilion, right here on 10th Street in downtown Atlanta, Georgia. And we want to keep that home court advantage, and we want to bring back the Thriller Dome. And so the more people can be in the Thriller Dome, including the students and everything else, it not only gives us a 6-man home court advantage, but it can even stretch into a 7th-man home court advantage. Well, Coach, thank you. I'll be there come December. Sounds good. Thank you so much. Of course. Have a great day.